Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and another brick building video. And this is going to be an epic video because we are going to build the largest model that we have done so far. This is the brand new T26E4 Super Pershing Pilot number 1. I don't know what the pilot number 1 stands for, but this is a Quan Guan model, and it's actually the first Quan Guan that I also have the pleasure to build, and it's in 1/28 scale. So Quan Guan, you might ask, why is it like this? It's just a bag. Well, it's a Chinese brand which you can purchase from a bunch of different stores. You can buy it from AliExpress and Wish. I bought it directly from seller. Your World of Building Blocks, I think they're called. So yes, ywobb.com. No, your wobb.com is the website. And I think this is like 17 bucks or something, so it's super cheap. Um, and yeah, they have a box for them, but because they send them with air mail all the way from China, uh, basically they just take away the box and they just send the plastic bags with the bricks, and then they send the manual on how to build it. So this beast is 1,322 pieces. The stuff I built before has been like 500, I think, 550, I think maybe one was. So yeah, this is a lot bigger. All in all, I think the M26 Pershing is one of my favorite tanks. And I think this one kind of looks like the actual thing. Something I find extremely odd is these markings, the A and the 2. Because if you start researching this tank, there was only one. I think there was 25 that were built into production, but only one sent to actually participate in World War II. And that one, if you Google it, you will find some pictures, and there are a few set of photos when this beautiful tank is in a scrapyard, and that's when they have these markings. And these markings are post-war markings. So I'm very sad that they decided to include these two markings. I'm gonna look at it if I can somehow modify it and take those similar pieces to those from another place, so that you can't see the markings. Otherwise, I think I might just, if I just have to go with the markings, that's fine. Or I might try to order those just two parts to change them out to be without, just green without any markings, because I don't know why I would want to have the post-war model. I want to have the one fighting in the war, not the one laying in a scrapyard. I think the guys who built this, maybe they don't know too much about tanks. They just saw those photos and they made a model, and they thought, oh, it should have an A here and a 2 here. Well, if it's post-war in a scrapyard, yes, it should. So Quan Guan, uh, Chinese brand, super cheap, uh, far away from Kobe quality. And I did my research on this brand, and from what I reckon is that many of the models are quite good, but then some are quite bad. So this is brand new. This was just released, I think, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, perhaps. And there's not much information about this specific model on the internet right now. But it's an M26 Pershing, and it's not only an M26 Pershing, it's a Super Pershing. So of course I had to get this one, and it was 17 bucks and I think 13 bucks in shipping. So I thought, okay, let's do a Quan Guan. So I've been talking for a lot of time, so we're just gonna pour this out now. Unfortunately, it seems like the bags are not, oh, they are numbered. Okay, so here we have number 2, number 3, number 4, and this should be number 1 then. Yes, so they are numbered, so that's very good. We have a total of 4 bags, so we're gonna build this in 4 parts. Also see that we get a brick separator and perhaps something else here to help us. This includes 5 figures, and we can see how to build the figures here. And this is gonna be a total of 179 steps. And this is how it's supposed to look when we're done. And the weapon choice is kind of weird, that like a bazooka. It looks like that looks like a Thompson M1 carbine, a Sten gun, and I forgot what's the name of the Bren. I guess it's called a Bren, the British machine gun. I think it's called a Bren gun, but I'm uncertain. I'm not very good with British weapons. And the sidearms, that one at the top kind of looks like a Glock, which is hilarious. But yeah, I've seen that's one of the problems I've seen with these figures, that many of them have very strange weapons and such. I also see that we have a colored tankman here, which is also kind of weird because the U.S. Were still kind of racist during World War II and had segregation, so that the black infantry would fight alone in their own divisions or battalions. And then we see the tank commander here has a cape, which is also very weird. But yeah, the figures, I think, definitely far from Kobe quality. But I think the tanks, if you get a lucky one, they can be kind of cool. Okay, one last thing I'm going to show you here is the back. We get to see some of the details. We see that we have our hatches, we have some crew apartments, we have the engine here, which we seem to build actually. We have, looks like we have some interior here too. And last thing before we start building, guys, I just want to give you a tip. If you are interested in this specific tank, there is actually one book called Another River, Another Town. A teenage tank gunner comes of age in combat 1945 by John P. Irwin. This is an excellent book. It's quite short. You see the text is quite large, so you can read this quite quickly. But this is about this is a memoir written by I forgot now because it was some time I read it. I believe it was the gunner of this specific tank, which we're looking at right now, the only Super Pershing which took part in World War II, and one crew member of that tank wrote this memoir. So if you're interested in this tank and you like reading, this is an excellent memoir which I can highly recommend. Okay guys, let's start building. Well, guys, 5 hours later, and here we are. We have our Super Pershing ready with its 6 crew members. And again, I think the original Super Pershing actually had 5 crew members. Well, it's time to review this thing, and I gotta be honest, guys. I had high hopes for this, but I feel like I just woke up from a feverish nightmare. This was really bad, really bad. Uh, so let's just talk about the good stuff too, because there are actually a few good things about this model before we get into the bad parts. And I would say that the good stuff is that the instructions, most of the instructions were very clear, so it was kind of easy to follow on how to build it. And many of the, I mean, this is 1,322 pieces, so you really want to have clear instructions. It was also quite fun to build in the beginning. I felt like, it was building really quickly. Then the other good thing I would say is that the tracks actually work. Many of the tanks I built or armored vehicles, the tracks don't work. But you see what happened there, and yeah, we lost a part, and we're gonna get into that. I'm very scared to move it because that's what happens. Another good thing is that we have no stickers. We have printed pieces, so I'm very grateful for that. Yeah, then I mean, once it's up and not broken, it actually looks pretty good. Now to the overwhelmingly bad part. So first of all, there's a piece missing. The machine gun, the whole machine gun, which should be here, is missing. And this is the first time this happens to me with any kind of brick model. So that's unfortunate because the seller is in China, so I'm gonna have to email them and probably wait a few weeks until I get a replacement for that. So I think that's unfortunate, especially since I'm doing this video to showcase it, and now I can't properly showcase it because I mean it's a small part, but it's still not complete without that whole machine gun. The worst part, which is horrible, is that this thing is so fragile. You can see that I'm barely touching it because I'm afraid if I touch it, it's gonna fall apart. And it's gonna fall apart when you're building it. And I'll show you a video here in the corner. That happened as I was trying to get the hull together, and I had to backtrack for an hour to fix that. That was horrible. I was so angry. This took again 5 hours, and if it hadn't been all of the backtracking due to its pieces falling apart, it would probably have taken maybe 3.5 hours at max. Motherfucker! So that's very disappointing, and it's I mean this is again it's a 100% display piece. You're never gonna be able to play with this. If you ever have to move, good luck, getting this thing into a new home without breaking it into a million pieces and having to start over from scratch and rebuild it all together, which I think is very unfortunate. And I mean, when you have these things, like you have people visiting, and sometimes there might be kids or even grown-ups ask sometimes, oh, can I touch them? And with this one, I would have to say no, because if someone touched this, I'm pretty convinced it's gonna fall apart. The instructions again were good, but there were two kind of colors, which were the green and then kind of brownish, and I really could not tell the difference. I could tell the difference when looking at the instructions, but I could not tell the difference when looking at the pieces themselves. Like I mentioned here in the beginning of the video, we see the markings here, the A and the 2, which I think is a very odd choice since those are post-war markings which were done as this tank was laying on a scrapyard. So I think that's a little bit of an odd choice of the design. I much rather would have been without those. Unfortunately, I found no pieces that I could use to replace them with. And I think that's pretty much it. I think that's very unfortunate that it's so brittle and that it breaks so easily. You can see this one has fell off. I'm gonna have to be very careful replacing that. I would like to show you like the track's functions and so on, but I don't dare. You can see that the turret spins quite okay. However, there's not much interior to look at. We have the two hatches here which function. This machine gun goes up and down. The turret, the gun also goes up and down, but I'm afraid to do it because it's gonna fall apart. This track here on the side keeps falling off all the time. And then you have two hatches, one hatch here and one hatch here, and they have the same problem. They fall off, and if they fall off, you are in trouble because they are very, very easily attached to some very important parts. And if you start touching those parts, again, it's going to fall apart. You have, let me see if I can show you this. On this side here, on the back side, you should be able to open these up and have a look inside. But again, I'm a little bit afraid to do so. And inside there, you can kind of see the engine, and you can see like a fire extinguisher and so on. I'll show you later in the photos instead, because this, again, if I keep touching it, it's just going to fall apart. I can feel this thing here is, yeah, this is loose. This is not properly on. And that's not me doing anything wrong. That's the tank itself, the bottle, which is you touch it, and that's what's going to happen. Yeah, I think it's very unfortunate because look at that. It does look cool. It looks really nice. We have 6 figures. We have a lot of weapon choices for our figures. Some strange ones. I showed you this during my unboxing. Yes, you can see here we have, I believe that's a flashbang grenade, and that looks like a lock. That kind of looks like a Beretta 92 FS, but it could be a 1911. But I think it looks more like a Beretta 92 FS. And yeah, very strange that that piece was missing too. It's going to be interesting to see what that happens. These things, they call these things elephant ears, and they look weird, don't they? But they were actually put there on the real Super Pershing tank, the only one that took part in the Battle of Europe. Well, guys, that's it for my review on this thing. Again, I don't recommend you buying this due to the very, very bad design of it falling apart. If you have a friend that you really don't like, maybe this would make a very nice Christmas present or a birthday present for him. So that's my recommendation. Uh, very disappointed. It's my first Quan Guan, and I read some things about this that people were saying that it was kind of looking promising and looking good, but yeah, it looks good, but it's not good. It's horrible. It's a piece of shit. And I think I had this channel now for 6 years, and I think I cussed on this channel maybe 5 times during those 6 years. So let this be my yearly custom. That is a piece of shit, because it really is. And that is nothing against what I've been saying as I've been building this thing and it's been falling apart. But luckily, you don't have to listen to that. Okay, guys, enjoy the photo shoot of this tank and the spinning video. Thank you for watching. As always, please give me a comment what you think about this. Have you built this yourself? What do you think about it? Take a second to like the video, and please subscribe so you don't miss out on my next brick building video. I'll try to focus on building the new models so you can kind of see if they're worth buying before you actually buy them and waste your money. If you want to support me a little bit extra, you can do a one-time donation with PayPal or YouTube Super Thanks, or become a supporting member of the channel. All right, guys, thank you for watching. See you next time.